Good morning, it's Lorelei. It's Lorelei with Radiate Life with Lorelei. And this morning I'm going live. I'm excited. I finally get to go live on my site. And the main reason why I'm going live today is because I don't know about you, but for me, things are really moving at a very quick pace. And, as my first priority, right, is my own personal health. And then, right into that is the health of my husband and our loved ones and here. So, gosh, it seems like everyone has a different kind of ingredient and recipe they need for health and wellness. So I want to just come on and do this video because I had some things I wanted to get out to you, and then I can come back and just refer you back to the video. So this particular video is just going to be about some things that we're using and not so much the whys behind it. So you can look for that other, information on my website, on my blog. So the primary places that I'm posting right now are my website, my blog, a lot of posts that I would normally make on Facebook. Starting next week, I'll be making into my blog. And then also I'll be doing more YouTube videos, but I'll do them timely. And then once I've written them down and put them on my blog, unless there's really important information, I'll probably take them down and do more of a condensed version of things. So first of all, I just wanted to say that having things that are close to us that are meaningful, so this is this is a blessed power object that I wear, a sacred item. When you receive something from someone you love, and there's a special blessing. Well, this is one of my Ascension teachers, and she is the person who is the initiator of the Rune Grandmasters. I'm also initiated into the angelic healing of the Belvas Ptah, as well as a Kivesta Lemurian manifestation tool. And I'm just saying that because there's all these things that go on behind the scenes. There's probably two people I know who kind of understand what is going on and what I go through. And because there's so many of us, there's so many things that are going on behind the lines, right? So there's this if we talk about the matrix, we kind of talk about this duality. And I'll say, so what I just want to share with you is that there is a lot of information that is coming in right now, right? And the more that you use the energy that's coming in, the more that you use your left brain and your right brain together, right? That's your science and analytical organization parts of your mind, and your creative and your flowing and your inventive and your inspiration parts. They come together so that we're really looking for the seamless kind of recipe, the seamless kind of ebb and flow and movement of these things coming together. Sometimes it looks like being a little more organized, being more focused, being more, I want to say intentional, but intention is more of having a purpose. So if you're saying, I'm not just like a leaf in the wind, I'm not just taking whatever comes my way, you might have to be in a place where you or your family is going through a health crisis right now, a financial crisis. Things are being tossed up in the air, and you might just have to be just taking things as they come. But that's really important to stay grounded, right? To stay deeply rooted, to stay grounded, to have a network so that you can go out and into your world. The other part of it is there's just an immense amount of information that is coming in that's new. There's a lot of libraries of information. There's a lot of people that are taking steps out and are going out there and either training people or teaching things. And there's a set curriculum, right? And even myself in the recent years, though I love to learn and I love to be involved in different communities, I know there was a point myself where I'm like, universe, do not send me another certification. because we get to a point where we think that certification or that diploma is going to mean we'll have clients or we'll be doing the things we want in the world. Those who are close to me and close to my heart, like, we are doing things because we want to make our lives better and other people's lives better. And a lot of times what happens is we want to make other people's lives better, but then we sacrifice our own life to do that. And the ascension process demands that just not be the case anymore. Well, in the past, those things happened, meaning there were teachers and there were gurus that would they'd say, come and be my disciple and I will take on your karma for you. And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't, but it was a mechanism in which people would come and be a part of a group rather than being individual. They felt like, no, I'm more powerful together as a group. And then these teachers would take on this karma, and yet their own body wouldn't be taken care of. And also, the other thing is the ego started to take on things, and it wasn't in integrity and in purity. They didn't walk their walk. And it's not a judgment. It's just understanding that this was the process that was going on. And so now we're in this process now where we really have to start, like, to me, like, I had to start looking at myself and saying, you're a leader. You have to lead your life. And it doesn't mean if I don't have anyone else I'm leading, the person I need most to lead is me. The person I need to put in charge of my life is me. And even though I have a 22-year marriage and a partnership, and, I have a young adult and 2 teenagers and all this going on, I've dedicated my last 15 years to getting the family what it needed, to getting myself what I needed, to do it in a place that worked for everybody. And now, as we're coming to this place where my children are, like, more and more the time for them to make their own mistakes, right? Learn by trial and error while they're home with me. So we kind of like watch the boundaries. So I guess that's kind of in a nutshell what goes on with me, and the health, the emotional health, the mental health, the spiritual health. Everyone in my family is very individual. So there's a lot going on. So I just want to say, if any of that, resonates with you, that is what's going on, right? And what has really worked for me very recently is I take each myself first. I know I keep talking about, when I think of what am I doing for other people, but that comes back to me because I'm still training myself that, every day I do what I need to do for me first. I do get a good night's sleep. I do get up and I do my prayers and my invocations, and I look into my life and my world. And I get up about an hour and a half to 2 hours earlier than the rest of my family, because I know once they're up, once I get them up, once this, that, and the other, no matter how independent they are, the water starts churning, right? The water starts churning. So I get up, beautiful energy, things I'm wanting in the world, things I want for me in the world, things I want to do for me. What is the most important thing for me right here, right now? And I wake up in gratitude and send out prayers of love and just reach out to myself, my friends, my family, the world. There's so many things going on in the world. There's so many opportunities to lift and to grow and to nurture. And so I have that hour and a half to 2 hours to do just that. Most of the time, I'm very, very scheduled. It's not the prayer itself, but I have a lot of my things that are, right now, there's so many prayers. There's so many things to do that I create small videos. And I play these videos, and there's some I do every day. There's some that I do, on certain days of the week. But I found that would be one tip I have for you, would be to make yourself a video or make yourself a presentation, or I don't have one by me right now, but I have even those old photo books, or, with the plastic, you slip your photos in. I have a bunch of those too that I still use because I don't have everything online or on video, and I like to use paper copies. So I would say that. And then again, I was saying intention has to do with purpose. It's the inter receiving of what it is that we're receiving from our life. So it's not that we're not doing enough or that we're doing too much. It's that perfect mixture of fluidity and structure that says, when this experience is happening and when this experience has completed, how will I have filled my bucket up? How will I fill my bucket of me up? How will I fill up my bucket of love, self-love, of understanding, of curiosity, of exploration? And have one of those buckets that you fill up through that experience. And that's purpose. Okay, that's a purposeful intention. So regardless of whether we're cleaning the dishes, taking out the trash, picking our kids up from school, pushing in to get them to do their homework, going out and dancing, having a meditation, walking our dog, spending time with our partner, going for a massage, going for a chiropractic adjustment, whatever it is we're doing, that it's fulfilling. Okay. And that's about purpose. And that right comes up as something that is for everybody. It doesn't matter where you are in the ascension process. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. This is something that's universal, that fits for everybody. And this is something with my own clients that comes up over and over again. It's something that I'm continually reminding of myself. So with my teenagers, the last couple of weeks has made a difference because there's all this stuff going on with them, and I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm calling in my mentors, and I have other people that work with me, but the people that I go to and the people I purchase services from is, again, the intention is most of the ones that I have, like off the top of my head, everybody that I have as a mentor that I go on a regular basis to, generally mentors. I have 3 mentors that I see on a monthly basis. I have 2 mentors in addition to that, which I'm in their paid groups. So I get to participate at least 5 days a week. And that energy is moving very, very, very quickly. And so there's that process of taking those insights in and the direction in and trying to figure out how to incorporate that into our life, not taking on too much. I just want to say that because that gives you an idea that, so the people that I'm working with, 3 of them, I have been students of theirs. I've gone through their programs. I've been able to demonstrate a certain level of, let's just say, expertise in my own life in helping other people. So when we work together, this time what we do is I will take a situation or something I'm wanting to create or something that's kind of stuck with one of my children, and I'll do the very best I can with it. And then I'm like, okay, I feel like I've done everything. I've cleared the slate, and now I'm going to go have a session with them. And during that session, let's say a session comes up, I focus on me. What am I doing with me? And then often what will happen is that situation with that child or that situation in my life will come up, and then we'll start working on my relationship to that. And what happens is, said or unsaid, again, because these are people I've established relationships over the years, like we get into that same energy. We are in this energy together. So it's not like I'm here and they're like, oh, I see this is going on, or I see that is going on, like intuition or psychic, which is really important. But they see me too, and they see my energy, and we're in this field of energy we create together. And it started, again, I was a student, as saying, okay, I don't want you to do it for me. This is my child, this is my life. I want to figure out how to see this, how I can move this forward. So if this is where I am and my perception is, then my mentors come in and they're like, oh, I see the situation and I see you. And they kind of work with me and work with their energy in the field. And we work together. And I'll see things and say things, and then they'll give me feedback. They'll maybe ask me to focus in one area or feel in that another area. And a lot of times it's that what I benefit from is their support. Their support in saying, yes, that's an accurate perception. What do you see about this? What comes to you to do about that? And have you done that? And are you doing this? And then they're not telling me, oh, you should learn this and you should do that. They may offer a suggestion, but I always know when they offer a suggestion that I'm the kind of person that I listen to it and then I make my own decision about it. So I'm going to talk more about what that's like, but this is the way that I also work with people. And it's kind of a conundrum in this way, is that if you've never had someone work with you in that way, then it's really hard to imagine, because so much of the healing and the sessions and readings that are done, it's like it's done from the outside in. It's done like to you. We're used to that going to you, right? Instead of like, what am I doing and how am I going to make the changes? Because the power is within me, right? So when I leave this office, when I leave the session, when I hang up this phone, now I'm feeling like, okay, I've cleared some things, I have some freshness, and then I have like exercises, or I have a to-do list of things to alter what is going on. And that's it within me, whether I do it a little, do it a lot. And it's more so the quality of my attention and the quality of my commitment, rather than it is the just purely the number of times I'm doing it. I'll give you an example. You could sit down to meditate. Set the timer for half an hour. The whole time you're sitting there struggling with the situation in your mind that happened with your neighbor, happened with your child, happened with your spouse. The timer is up and you're like, okay, great, I'm done. You could take a 6-minute meditation. You set your timer for 6 minutes. Maybe you focus on a flower. Maybe you go out in nature and you smell the grass. Maybe you smell the flowers and you sit. And you go within and you're like, 6 minutes, I could do this for 6 minutes. And you go within, and whatever you connect with, whether it's a light or a color or a feeling, maybe it's a particular angel or a Buddha or a teacher, maybe it's yourself, maybe it's your higher self. And for 6 minutes, you invest that time being in the presence, feeling the feels, smelling the smell. 6 minutes. Now that 6 minutes of quality time with you and your higher self is going to do more for you in your life than that half an hour where you sit and you struggle with getting your attention where you need it to be. So if you can give yourself permission for 6 minutes to do that, that's what I mean by quality. Quality, quality. Quantity, yes. Consistency, yes. But the equation of making change is in 3 parts. This is one of my teaches me. If we're going to use what she calls alchemy, okay? She's like, the matrix says, do this thing for this amount of time, this many days, and that's how you have an outcome. That's why many of us have sat in meditation for hours and hours. We've done hours and hours of prayers, because it's like you have to do this prayer in this way, and then you have to do that prayer in that way, and then you have to do this mantra in this way. And the more and more you go deeper into the teachings, the longer and longer it goes. And many of us that have families and young kids and just want to enjoy life are like, do I have to make a decision between really having a life that I enjoy or having this life that is full of all these to-do lists? Even though my heart's in it, there is no way to be able to do all those things at this time. So again, the ascension process is like, things are shifting and things are changing, and we're able to do things in ways that we couldn't do before because people have come before us. But the people that came before us helped us get to where we are, so we could turn a page, so we could change the energy, so that we could upgrade. And here we are today. We are all here today moving in this ascension energy. And we no longer have to like leave our bodies. We no longer have to leave our loved ones in order to have these tools and techniques, the energy that are within us, because we are the master constellation. We are our connection to source, but we have to be willing to be responsible for it. We have to be willing to kind of conduct ourselves and other people with more grace and more love and more compassion. And we have to be willing not to take a hard stance and say, I'm right, you're wrong. It's more about, what is your perception? What is my perception? What do you want to do about it? Right? So my one of my beautiful sisters and I were like, we were doing some really powerful meditations, and we were in this energy together, and we were like moving energy forward, and we could feel each other being different and similar. And we work on this because Well, I'll just say this. So what happens is, so when we work together, there are some things that keep us apart. One thing is language. Okay. Like sometimes people see different colors, different shapes, and in the astral plane, and then they'll label it. Okay. So think of like, a lemur monkey, right? So I'm saying that in English. What your language, it may be a different language, or it may be lemur because you don't have that word in your language, right? Black and white monkey, or lives in the trees, or whatever. So we don't know we're talking about the same thing. Okay. So again, this is it's a challenge because energetically, it is a thought form. A thought form is an image. It's a vibration that brings a frequency that brings an image that has components to it. It has it has something that can be interpreted visually, auditory, through the mind, through the heart, through the olfactory senses, right? And so when I talk here, you hear my words, but what else is going is there's this thought form, there's this feeling, there's this intent, there's so much more that's being shared here than just that. And so when we go into the energy, each person has to really know themselves and trust themselves, so that when we kind of open this energy and we do this meditation together, and we're like we're going into the Akashic records together, we're going into these different portals of healing. There might be, so many different healing portals available to us. But when you go into that, you really have to be really good with yourself. You have to be loving to yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself. You have to trust yourself, because what happens is when you go into the inner planes and you start seeing things and shapes and feelings, you're going to interpret it according to your tool, your vehicle, right? And my friend, she's interpreting it into her vehicle, her tools, her perceptions. She has things and expertise that I don't have. I have things and expertise that she doesn't have. We have things and expertise in common that is mind-blowing. We're similar but different. And so when we get into this field, and I'll describe what I see. So we're working with her. We'll kind of do client and practitioner, client practitioner, and it kind of always melds together. We're both but it's important for someone to be receptive. And it's important for us to receive and be in that place in that energy, saying, yes, I'm in the center of the circle. This is my time to receive. What does the universe have for me, right? And we've gotten to the point where she will say, I can now hear what you're saying. I hear the color. I hear what you're sharing. And she said, and I understand also that I'm not experiencing that. I'm experiencing something completely different. However, now I'm understanding that it's all working together. So if it's like a kaleidoscope and we're looking at the energy in the same place, we're going to see it differently. And so there's a certain amount of self-trust and self-respect and respect for others and fluidity and understanding. The only important thing that we're doing is just describing what we're seeing. We're not interpreting what we're seeing. We're just describing it. You can listen to each other and understand that it's almost like watching a different movie, but you're at the same movie theater, So you're sharing that space. So I'll just say that because sometimes people will say, well, the only way that I'm going to know that I'm accurate is if I'm seeing what the other person is seeing. Or if I'm in a class and someone says, I see, a purple orb. Maybe you see a yellow orb, but you don't realize that it's really important for you to share that because there's also a yellow orb in that area and everyone is just focusing on the purple. Or maybe, and this has happened to me in some of my early days of metaphysics, or I have 2 short stories and then I've got to go. So 2 short stories, and it ties in directly here. So one day my teacher was giving a lecture and we were listening to her lecture. And I have to say that it was a work weekend and there was a lot of physical activity. We were out in nature and there wasn't a lot of sleep and we were up early and we were moving around. So you're kind of not really in your body all the way. And that kind of works for us too. So we got together and we're listening to this lecture and we're trying to stay awake because we really want to hear what she has to say. all of a sudden I can see this golden yellow fountain on her, up her head and going out like a fountain. Her crown of her head was golden yellow and out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I see her crown chakra. Am I going to start seeing, or not auras, but I'm going to see crown chakras? I'm like, I was really excited, right? No. I mean, it was like, yes, it was an opening, and yes, it was something, but I found out later, because this person didn't directly tell me what was going on. But what I found out is that this person was doing a technique where they were wanting to give, right? And then it was a beautiful act of love. And so they were imagining a golden fountain out their crown chakra and fountaining out. And also because I had a close relationship with this person, I was very open to them. They were my teacher at the time, my spiritual metaphysical teacher. I was very open to what it is they were projecting. And that was what they were projecting was this. And so I did find out that, and it was a good thing that I found out and I saw and I received, and it was just as clear as day. But it helped me because I realized, okay, so that means that when I go out in the world and perceive things, there's going to be the field of the hologram of what actually the energy is. And I'm going to see it according to my perception, and then what people are projecting. And that was really helpful. So I'm going to leave that story there. And I got one other short story, then I really got to go, which, what was the other one was about, I told you that there might be somebody projecting a really strong image, and you might key into their image instead of your own image. I call that the movie projector versus the person in the audience. Am I focusing on the audience or a person in the audience, or am I focusing on the projector? Because the projector is what I'm calling is the actual field. And I think I'm going to have to go. So I will do another video because I had a few more things to share. But that was some main things I wanted to share with you today is you need to know your energy. You need to know your own signature. You need to own your own smell. You need to know your own handwriting. You need to know your own way that your inner guidance communicates with you. And that's what your job is, not to figure out how someone else's inner guidance communicates with them. My guidance said not to share all of that. I know. The last thing I just want to say is that, so I am the way that my body, my energy, like who I am beyond this existence works is that I call it a synthesizer. I'm somebody who really enjoys going out and learning different techniques and different perspectives. And my energy, just by receiving a healing, receiving the energy, being in a meditation with a group of whoever's leading it, my energy is able to read that energy. My energy is able to figure out how to draw from that what's going to be useful. And just like I love learning. And so I love providing opportunities for people to learn. So I like utilizing different learning styles. And so I've learned 4 different ways to get into the Akashic Records at this time. And it's easier than we think. And people are doing it unconsciously all the time. It's just that we've set up this thing in our head that it's different than what it is. Now, there's different levels of the Akashic Records. There's just places within the Akashic Records. There's all kinds of different earth libraries that we also call the Akashic Records, that when certain things are happening on earth, they will open and we'll have access to them because we'll be able to use them. But it's been a really amazing journey to learn these different ways and practicing those ways. Why? Because we are all different, because we're different flavors. There's going to be one way that works better for another person. So I love to be the kind of person that says, yeah, you could do this project in so many different ways. Let me count the ways that we could do this, so that I'm more of a kind of a universal translator, that I'm not tied to anything other than source. And that's kind of my role in the world. And I love you all. Thank you so much.